Has this golfer made a huge mistake? This golfer has just invested in some new hybrids. He is Mr. TAKOMO. He has TAKOMO irons, TAKOMO wedges, but he hasn't tried the new TAKOMO 101U. We're going to do that today here on the Everyday Golfer with Dave. I'm going to put them against his 11 hybrids. So in comes Dave here with his 11 hybrids. So you will see them on screen. Dave recently had a whip round, asked Mrs. Harrison if he could buy some new clubs. I
didn't actually say anything to her until they arrived, because normally when the mailman turns up, I'm in, but I wasn't and she was, so I had to complain.
And Dave didn't just buy one, he bought 4 new hybrids, so he's gone 6, 5, 4 and 3 hybrids with the 11. TAKOMO have just brought out these brand new 101U utility irons, which would potentially fit in perfect with Dave's set if he didn't peak a little bit early, but we don't want to say he's made a bad purchase. Let's put them to the test here on the golf course.
That'll take some beating, Chris.
And that's what Dave's been seeing from these 11 hybrids and why he invested £85, Dave, per club.
It was, I'm afraid.
Not too bad. These are coming in at $119, so around about £100, plus maybe some import tax here in the UK or depending where you are. But how will they perform? So Dave, behind the golf ball, how does it sit and look to you? Obviously first impressions would be?
It looks very nice. We tested the Titleist the other week.
Yeah.
Similar sort of club. And I don't think it looks any worse than that, if I'm honest. It looks quite similar, if I'm honest.
Any worse or any better? No, I mean, not the words I would have gone with, Dave, but it looks very similar, yeah?
No, but what I'm saying is, you know, from Titleist, compared price-wise to TAKOMO, you'd expect a lot of a different look.
Yeah, so top edge looks very similar to the T200.
Yeah.
Doesn't look as big maybe as the U505.
No.
Perfect, so let's see how it launches. Again, we've got a graphite shaft in here, a KBS tour shaft, so premium components as always from TAKOMO. And you know, they want obviously a premium product at an affordable price.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Very easy to launch, Dave. And that's another good shot, just up the right hand side there. Be very interesting to see distance. Did you feel as confident over that, honestly, as compared to your hybrid?
No, but you know, I've only had a couple of practice shots with this, so I'm not used to it. Whereas I know that I hit that fairly well, so I can walk to it and be reasonably confident with it.
So it'll be very interesting to see the numbers in comparison to this 11 hybrid. Again, this is a little bit stronger, so 21 degrees here compared to the 24 degrees from the TAKOMO. But again, shaft, KBS hybrid shaft in there, a little bit lighter in this.
Yeah.
And everyone there, if you're looking at this trolley, this is a motor caddy trolley, but there's one big thing. Dave keeps pressing the button, but it doesn't keep moving because
I had a bit of a disaster this morning, Chris. I left my battery behind.
Somebody forgot his battery, so he's now got a lovely push trolley.
Yeah.
But Dave has just found a problem with the TAKOMO driving iron. So one big problem, Dave, I've obviously said premium components, good price, but the one big thing, Dave, is what?
No head cover, mate. No head cover.
No head cover. So Dave would have to obviously spend some more money.
Well, I've still got the 3 and the 4 head covers in the set, so you know, all wouldn't be lost.
Oh, so the dream is alive.
Indeed.
It could be changing. Right, so down here, 2 balls in the fairway, which as we know for Dave is a rarity. But we have got the TAKOMO here on the right, and I would say there's probably about a yard in it. And obviously a yard, or maybe 2 if we're being precise, is not bad at all to say. Obviously Dave's never hit that club, and also it's 3 degrees weaker. It's performed ridiculously well, Dave.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that because, as I say, I'd only really had a couple of practice swings with it. I wasn't expecting great things because I'm more used to the hybrid, but yeah, decent, very decent.
And we'll take that, but we're going to get this tested now on the 4th hole here at Waterfront through those trees, which as we know is one of the hardest par 3s.
Hateful par 3.
In Yorkshire. So guys, next up for Dave is the 3-iron here on this par 3. So Dave was just saying, obviously, the iron you struck on the last hole, you said it wasn't perfect, wasn't out of the middle.
No, but what an absolutely cracking result. Okay, I pushed it a little bit, it went a bit right, but very similar distance to the hybrid.
Yeah, so very forgiving there, and still got out there. Dave flushed the hybrid, Dave got some forgiveness from these TAKOMO 101Us, and it went pretty much the same distance. So very interesting there. Obviously from a driving iron, what are we looking for? We are looking for a little bit of forgiveness, and that's exactly what we got there. Now, how will it do here? That's a great strike, Dave. How was that struck?
That were decent, and that's probably one of the best shots I've ever hit on this hole.
Just landing at the top, running just short of the green. We know a 3-iron, unfortunately for Dave here, cannot reach because it is 230 yards uphill to this back flag. So a well struck one there, Dave. So let's see, be interested now obviously with your 3 hybrid. Again, number on the bottom of your 3 hybrid, Dave, what degree is that?
It's a 18.
18 degrees. So we know the 3-iron here is 21 degrees, so very traditional. The 2-iron that they do also do here in the U's is 18 degrees.
So the loft on my 4 hybrid is just about the same as the loft on that 3-iron.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously it's then trying to fit it in with your set. So you'll see on screen here, if Dave was to obviously go and put these U's into his bag, it wouldn't fit perfectly, so we'd have to have a look at the top end of his bag what we need to do. And Dave is going to bring his 4-iron out of the archives, and we're going to test it against this U and see which one would perform and fit in with his bag. So has Dave bit the bullet a little bit too early? Has he jumped the gun here and bought these 11 hybrids before testing these? Again, not Dave's best shot there.
No, but it's up there.
A little bit turned over. Probably would have been the same distance there, Dave, but again, that was more down to you.
Always, Chris.
Always down to Dave. Let's get on to the par 5 now. And which one out of these 2 would be the best? Okay, so now we're going to put them to the test out of the rough. So again, not a great swing on the last hole, Dave, with the hybrid, but is the hybrid going to come out of the semi-rough better? Is it going to come out of the thick rough better? Or will these U's do the job, Dave? So let's start with your hybrid first. So let's go hybrid out of the semi-rough first. Again, par 5 here, you might have just missed the fairway.
Surely not.
We're on the right side of the fairway, so Dave definitely wouldn't have missed here. But now how does it go through there? Because that is the fear with people when they get utility irons. They don't necessarily use them out of this kind of lie. But one of the benefits of this TAKOMO is that wider sole that makes it very much like a hybrid. So a little bit thin, Dave, but it came out nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah? Right, let's switch over now.
I've it worse in my life, Chris.
Let's switch over, and I'll just show them how, when you pick it up, we can show them. The bottom of the club does have, obviously, a rather thick sole for a utility. So, again, looks like an iron from the top, but on the bottom can perform a little bit more like a hybrid. So this is where we shall see it should still perform. I certainly found that it did perform well out of this rough when I tested this and reviewed this club last week on the channel.
Oh wow.
It's come out delightful there. Would you say that came out better?
Yeah.
Right, well let's jump straight into the thicker rough. It came out good there, again, good interaction with that sole. We've now obviously got one that is a lot more sat down there in the rough. So let's see how it performs from there. So, Dave's kicking a leaf. The leaves are starting to fall off. We'll soon see the woolly hats return.
Oh no.
The dreaded. Right, thick rough, 101U. What would you say, Dave?
I'd say that's decent, mate. I really would. It's down the middle of the fairway anyway.
Come out
Decent
very nice.
Distance.
Came out quite hot.
Quite hot. Not as much height as on the previous shots off the tee, but you wouldn't expect that out of the rough, would you, really? So.
No, you wouldn't expect that out of this thick, snaggy rough at the moment. Again, still wet this morning. The sun hasn't burnt it off as of yet, but out of there pretty well. I don't think you would maybe have got that with some of the other utilities with the narrower sole.
No. That was decent as well.
Nice. So, a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Not much. Which one would you say was easier? Was one easier than the other?
No, I'd say they were very similar there, Chris.
And that's the main thing here, Dave, isn't it? We've been able to test it off the tee. We've seen that it's performed there. We've seen that it's got forgiveness.
Yep.
Again, off the par 3, wasn't your best strike, but the utility again went well. And then out of the rough there, Dave, performed equally as well. So, have you made a mistake?
Do I ever, Chris? The answer is yes, of course. Have I made a mistake? I don't know, Chris.
I'm just showing you the leaves cover there if Dave makes a mistake.
That wasn't a mistake, that's inbred.
So,
was it a mistake? No, I would never admit to that, to buying those 11 clubs being a mistake.
because they're doing the job, aren't
Yeah,
they, Dave?
and
I've
always got on better with hybrids than I have with long irons. I don't know, I'd probably need to do a longer test and maybe play a couple of rounds with just the utility clubs in rather than hybrids to really have a good chance of knowing what the crack was with them.
Yeah, and which would you prefer the look over if you was being picky with there? Because we've seen the performance is pretty similar, but obviously under pressure with the dreaded scorecard in your hand, which would you prefer the look of?
It's a confidence thing for me with looks, Chris, and I always feel more confident with a hybrid if I'm honest.
So guys, they're very interesting from Dave. He has put that to the test. It has performed exactly like you would want to. It's performed just as good as a hybrid. Again, as forgiving as a hybrid, but Dave, confidence-wise, over the ball, when he knows he's got a card in the hand, a hybrid still wins. For me, slightly different. I prefer the look and like hitting those driving irons off there. Again, it all depends on what handicap you are, what kind of shots you can play, and how it's going to help you lower your scores.